Hey, Sporty Shorty, how you doing
I'm
today?
all right. What's going on with you?
I'm all right. Hear it in your voice that you're still trying to battle with this,
Still
whatever
battling
it
with it a
is.
little bit. Yeah, a little bit. It's been a lingering thing, so hopefully I get over it very soon.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
mean, I'm feeling better, but yeah, it's still a little bit of a struggle.
mm-hmm.
But like I said before, I'm gonna power through it.
Okay. So
So
this week we're
today
not having
we're
around
not
the
doing
world of
around the
sports.
world of sports.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really been that focused in terms of the sports like that, the way that I should be. But I have been focused on my Knicks lately.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be about my Knicks.
Mm.
In particularly their last game that took place Sunday afternoon, where they played the Oklahoma City Thunder. Knicks scored 135 points at the Garden. OKC Thunder, unfortunately, scored 145 points.
Boy, that was a high scoring game.
Very high scoring game.
Everybody was dropping buckets.
If you would have told me before the game the Knicks are going to score 135 points today, I would have said that's a win. I would have been very happy with 135 points. I would have assumed that they were going to win the game. But like I said, OKC scored 145 points, which is inexcusable. It's way too many points to let a team score. Especially a team like OKC, which is they're a talented team, but they're a very young team, and they're supposed to be in the rebuilding phase of their franchise. The Knicks are 6-7 after that game, and OKC right now is 6-8. So if the Knicks want to make the playoffs, OKC is the type of team that they should beat.
Right.
Obviously, they weren't successful on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I got a few notes on that. OKC shot 62.5% in that game, which is very high.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually their season high. Shooting 62.5% in the game is just way too high. You can't allow a team to shoot that well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, OKC shot 54.8% from the three-point line,
Wow.
which is also extremely high. A team should not be shooting over
Unacceptable.
50% from the three-point line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a three-point shot. It's the furthest shot you can take. Like, 54.8% is just way too high. Obviously, that falls on the defense. To me, that also falls on Coach Tom Thibodeau, who's supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. Throughout the game, I didn't feel like he was making the proper adjustments defensively.
Mm.
I'm like, if your defense is allowing this team to score all these points, you got to do something different.
Right. There has to be an adjustment.
It has to be an adjustment, and I felt like that didn't happen.
Mm.
There's a guy sitting on the bench named Miles McBride who did not play any minutes in that game.
Mm-hmm.
He's known from college as a defensive player.
Mm.
Like in college, that's what he was known for. He was a defensive stopper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's a pretty good young player. I find it hard to believe that your team is struggling on defense and you don't even insert Deuce. Well, his name also is Deuce McBride. His nickname is Deuce. So if you hear me say Deuce McBride or Miles McBride, it's the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Deuce might have made a difference. I'm not saying the Knicks would have won the game, but it might have made a difference.
But we'll never know.
But we'll never know because he didn't play him at all. You know, you got to play a guy like that
Mm-hmm.
just to see. You got to change up something because whatever you're doing is not working.
Right.
So that was one of my big takeaways from the game is that Miles didn't play. Again, he's a defensive player. Quentin Grimes, again, another defensive player on the team. Played 8 minutes. Why only 8 minutes?
Right,
He has a
that's crazy.
defensive reputation. Him and Miles McBride have defensive reputations. You play Quentin Grimes 8 minutes. You play Miles 0 minutes. I don't. To me, that's not good coaching. You also had R.J. Barrett, who struggled in the game. So you had R.J. Barrett struggled in the game. He only had 4 points in the game.
The whole game?
The whole game, he had a bad game, which happens from time to time. And you had Evan Fournier, who also struggled, who didn't score at all. why are these guys playing more minutes than a guy like Miles McBride or a guy like Quentin Grimes? I don't get it. You know, if you got two of your main guys struggling, put these young guys in and see what they can do. I couldn't understand why that adjustment wasn't made. If the Knicks continue to go down this path of losing games, especially on the defensive end, I think a coaching change might be in order.
Oh,
I think that.
Ooh.
I think that Tom Thibodeau's days might be numbered on the Knicks.
Why do you? What's going on with? He's generally a good coach. What do you suspect is the deal here?
I feel like I think the team has him on notice. I think that the team is expected to win more games this season, and I think if they don't win more games, I'm not saying his job is in jeopardy at this very moment, but I think that if the Knicks are about to go on a West Coast trip, if they don't win games on this West Coast trip, he very well could lose his job.
In the middle of the season.
Yeah, it's happened before. You know, I think that it's very possible because the team doesn't seem to be gelling. It's the team plays very sporadically, and defense is a pride thing. It's a adjustment thing. It doesn't seem like the team is playing hard enough for him. You know, and yeah, I put that on the players as well. You know, you should take pride in your play. You know, you should play hard all the time. But sometimes I think the coach has to motivate that too to a certain degree. The coach, teams have to be willing to play for the coach. You know, you have some guys that can really motivate their players. Tom Thibodeau tends to be a yeller, and I don't know if the yelling is starting to get to the players. I don't know if they're no longer responding to that. I don't know what the situation is, but for whatever reason, they play very, very disjointed basketball. And I feel like a lot of times the coach is the first to go. You know, it's easier to get rid of the coach than it is to get rid of the players.
Right.
So a lot of times teams do go that route. You know, I'm not going to say whether that's fair or unfair, but I mean, you have to at least. There's going to be games where your shot doesn't fall and maybe you struggle offensively. The Knicks don't have any superstars, so there's going to be games where they just don't play well offensively. But if you score 135 points, that's not the problem. You scored enough points to win the game. You cannot allow another team, especially an inexperienced team, to score 145 points. That's just unacceptable. And a lot of times that does fall on the coach. Especially when he didn't make the adjustments that I pointed out with Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes playing more minutes. I think that's a big mistake. So, yeah, that part does fall on the coach. But the players have to communicate on defense also. I didn't hear or see a lot of talking out there. You know, I didn't see a lot of communication with the players on defense. That also falls on the players, and to a certain degree, that falls on the coach as well. You know, so I don't know. Maybe these players are tired of that same old voice. Maybe they need a new voice. You know, they need to insert maybe a different strategy. And a lot of times that comes down to the coaching. So I don't know if they're going to get rid of Tom Thibodeau, but it looks like if the Knicks continue to struggle, that actually might happen. Knicks do play Utah tonight. Utah surprisingly is 10-5, which that's the same team that got rid of Donovan Mitchell over the summer. They got rid of Rudy Gobert. They got rid of Royce O'Neal. They got rid of Bogdanovich. So they lost about, I think, 4 starters from their team last year. So they were expected to struggle this year. They're actually having a surprisingly good season so far. So the Knicks actually can win that game, but again, if they don't show up defensively, they will lose tonight. So stay tuned for tonight's game. Hopefully they get back on track and win the game, but I have a feeling that Tom Thibodeau's job could be in jeopardy. That's all I have for today.
Well, if Tom does get let go, is there any particular coach that you would like to see?
There's actually a coach on their bench right now, a young coach that actually came over from Utah, Johnny Bryant, who I think he's a young up and coming coach, and I think he deserves a shot.
What role is he?
He's the associate head coach, which is the next spot next to Tom Thibodeau. And from all accounts around the NBA, people like him a lot, and a lot of people think that he's primed for a head coaching job. If not Johnny Bryant, I'd like to see Mark Jackson get another job.
Oh, okay.
He's a former Knick. He's a New Yorker. I would like to see Mark Jackson get another shot in the NBA. So you got Johnny Bryant, who's actually on the Knicks bench now, and Mark Jackson. I would like to get a look to, or at least get an interview.
Okay.
So those are my guys.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens tonight and in the next few games to come.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, thanks so much for powering through. Again, we hope you feel better soon. We're sorry that this whatever is attacking your body is just holding on there, but we just pray that you get better soon, and we look forward to seeing you. I guess next time will be around the world of sports. Next
video should be around the world of sports, probably.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. If not on Friday, then we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So if everyone, don't forget everyone to like, subscribe, and share this video with others.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.